We had an old shack of a house, but we lived here in it for 10 years, and then we built the one where we live now. We grew tobacco and corn and cattle and hay. Of course, part of the farm was pasture. In 1955, he was nominated to be on the board of directors of the Clinton County Farm Bureau. In 1974, they put him in as president, and nobody ever did want to be president after that. They turned it over to Murl.
Today we pay tribute to this Kentucky farm boy who stared down evil with the strength of a warrior and the heart of a true hero. First Lieutenant Garlan Murl Conner. Although he died 20 years ago today, he takes his rightful place in the eternal chronicle of American valor. In January of 1945, the U.S. 3rd Infantry Division was engaged in a fierce battle with the Nazis in northern France.
He'd been in the hospital for quite some time, and he didn't like being in there. He was in a wheelchair, and they told him he might not ever walk anymore. But he got into a truck with some of his fellow soldiers and went back to the front lines. General Ramsey was asking for volunteers to go out and try to find where the Germans were bunked out at. And Murl found them, and he rolled a spool of wire, telephone wire, as he ran across the field. And he fell down into a shallow ditch and laid there for, I can't remember how many hours, but directing artillery from where the Germans were.
In front of the lone American soldier were 6 German tanks and hundreds of German soldiers. As bullets flew all around him, Lieutenant Conner directed artillery fire, each time successfully decimating the enemy.
Even when they got so close to him, most people would have quit, but he directed the artillery over himself.
When they were nearly on top of Lieutenant Conner, he ordered fire on his own position, exactly where he was, courageously choosing to face death in order to save his battalion and achieve victory for freedom. And those people that were with him, many of them now gone, said it was the single bravest act they've ever seen.
VA recognized PTSD in Vietnam veterans, but they didn't for World War II and Korea veterans. And if anybody ever had PTSD, Murl did, because he would have nightmares and dreams. When we first got married, many of the night he's come out here in the yard and sat for hours and smoked before he'd go back to bed. But he wouldn't talk about it. He wouldn't say what was bothering him. General Ramsey contacted him and wanted him to go ahead and apply for the Medal of Honor, and he wouldn't do it. He said people would laugh and say he was bragging, and he didn't want people to think he was bragging. He done what he felt like he had to do. But later on in years, he wished he'd have went ahead and asked for the Medal of Honor. In March, I began getting phone calls, but they wouldn't tell me what it was about. So then one day they called and said that would I be at home on, I believe it was a Monday, at 11 o'clock. And I said, yes, I can be. Well, you'll be getting an important phone call. When the phone rang at 11 o'clock, I answered it, and this lady, she said that, I have the President of the United States on the phone who wants to talk to you. And I said, you gotta be kidding. And she said, no. And when he came on the phone, he said, is this Lydia Conner? And I said, no, sir, it's Pauline Conner. I said, Lydia is my first name, or Lydia is my first name, but I go by Pauline. And he said, well, you sound just like an old country girl. And I said, I am. I'm sitting here in my living room looking out the front door at the pretty redbirds playing out there in the yard. He said, well, I've got some good news for you. He says, I've been reviewing your husband's military records, and he's got one of the finest records that I believe I've ever read. And he said, I have awarded him the Medal of Honor. And I said, you gotta be kidding. And he said, no, I'm not, and I'll see you in a little while in Washington. I said, no, you gotta be kidding. And he said, no, I'm not.
I would like to now ask Pauline to come and accept the Congressional Medal of Honor for her husband.
President of the United States of America, authorized by Act of Congress, March 3rd, 1863, has awarded in the name of Congress the Medal of Honor to First Lieutenant Garlan M. Conner, United States Army.
We did it, Murl. We finally got what you deserved. And as I've said in the past, and I continue to say, God bless the United States of America, and God bless all the veterans. And that's what Murl would want me to say. Because he really enjoyed working with the veterans, and he enjoyed his farm life. He enjoyed doing the farm work. He enjoyed being with other people, and he enjoyed Farm Bureau.